One sec. I'm
Yeah,
streaming this online YouTube.
sure.
Sec. I'm
Yeah,
streaming this online YouTube.
sure.
Hello, everyone. Now I have a pleasure of introducing Ajay Babu from Hyderabad. He's a young meditator and has been meditating for the past 3 years. And I'm so proud and happy for Ajay for realizing this truth at a very young age, not only young age, within a few years of following PSSM, he has become a great master. And today he is going to share his wisdom with us on Ramtha's wisdom. I welcome Ajay for to our meditation mantra, and this is streaming on PMC New York. Welcome, Ajay.
Yeah, thank you so much, Man. Thank you so much. It's a great opportunity to me. And so, best way to teaching is learning is teaching, right? So, in the way, so first is golden opportunity for me. So, thank you so much. And I would like to thank Brahmashi Patriji for introducing meditation and vegetarianism to me, and for Master Teacher Ramtha to thank you so much and for introducing ancient wisdom. So, I think this is the first. So I think my teaching in our channel, I guess. So I think I have given two session in PM's English. I think this is the first ever section in our channel, I guess. Yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity. So we'll start, masters. So as a man mentioned, my name is Ajay Babu. So since 3 years I'm practicing Anapanasati meditation, and since 1 year I'm studying Ramtha. I'm not reading, I'm studying the Ramtha. I know the difference between studying and reading, right? So I am studying the Ramtha. So this year I kept my goal as I want to be master. Master is nothing but the definition of master is who lives in now moment, right? The person who lives in now moment and creates his reality. To let life happens to is irresponsible, and to create your day or create your life is divine, right? So some of them are some most of them we create our life, and some people let their life happens, but their choice. But the master definition of master is to create your life and be living right now moment. So that's a definition of master. So in the process, so actually since 1 year I had a question that, so what is consciousness, what is energy, what is wisdom? I think in PSM logo we all know that. So we have a logo in that. So let me share my screen. So can you give me permission to share my screen?
Yes, Ajay, you have
Yeah,
it.
yeah, thank you. So just I'll give 5 to 10 minutes what is exactly Rampa knowledge and how I learn, so maybe it will help you. So so generally this is a PSM logo, and this is one beautiful is called you create your reality or Apodepa Bhava. Apodepa Bhava is in article Gautam Buddha's language, I think Pali language, but you
Pali.
can translate into English. That meaning is you create your reality, or be a light into yourself. You can name it. So this is consciousness, this is energy, wisdom. So okay, so the entire spirituality revolve around these three words. Okay. So consciousness, energy, and wisdom. The purpose is to become light to yourself, to realize I am creating my life, to realize you have the divinity within, you realize you are the God. That's the purpose. That to reach that, these are three things we should understand. So without those, you can excel or you can go to bed. That's the basic things you should understand. So, for example, when you want to write a poem, when you want to write any essay in English, you should learn basic letters, words, grammar. Then you put it that into words, right? You put it that into paragraph. Similarly, in spirituality, you should understand what is the what you call meanings of these basic words, and you should understand seven level of consciousness. You should understand what is why. You should understand what is wisdom. You should understand what is truth. You should understand what is spirit. You should understand what is aura. So there is a basic things. There are fundamental things you should understand. Then you can able to understand other what you call spiritual concept easily. So in that process, I was searching for what is consciousness, what is energy. I searched in Google. That was no much a, but I searched in Google. I searched in YouTube, but I didn't find exact definition. I didn't. Maybe Upanishad, maybe they defined it, but I didn't read that in that time. So later I got to know once I read the Ramtha, I started reading Upanishad. So I think three four Upanishad, Mandukya, Mundaka Upanishad, and Ishavasya. Some I three four Upanishad. I started reading. I understand what exactly they were trying to tell. So because I understand fundamentals, right? So and not only that, you should follow the order. So for example, if you want to learn English, as I said earlier, so if I directly teach grammar, you don't understand. You should learn letters, words, grammar. That is the order you should follow, right? Similarly, in spirituality, there is order. And thank my seniors, or thank my gurus, or what you call mentors, whom from whom I learned subject. For example, Pradeep Vijay is there, and Ayappa Pindi is there, and Ramu Master is there. So many wonderful teachers, and not only in PSM, across global, so many beautiful masters are there. From that, I collect the knowledge. But when I come to Ramtha, he teaches in order. That's the beauty of Ramtha. He teaches with quantum physics, he teaches with neurology, he teaches with biology, he teaches with entropy, he teaches with cosmology. So he combined all subjects, he combined all things, he explained how consciousness and energy creates reality, how thought becomes matter. That entire chain, that entire sequence, he explains beautifully. Some may be explained what is thought level, some may be explained at energy level, some may be explained at a matter level. But in this air, right now, there is no person to explain bridge between thought to matter. For example, you are thinking a thought, how that going to manifest in the form of matter, that entire sequence is no one can explain in single way, or in single person did not explain as per my knowledge. So the the beauty of master teacher Ramtha is he got enlightened in 35,000 years back in Atlassian civilization. Once he become that divinity, and once he realized the God within, I think after 35,000 years back, he is coming again to earth in the body name called JJ Knight. So he walks in that body and he give lectures since 40 years. Through that, so I got to learn the subject because he has 35,000 years of experience and he viewing the humanity in that what you call helicopter view, we call it as. So similarly, when you learn the subject in systematic order, when you learn the subject in sequence, you have utter clarity. When you have clarity, so sky is the limit, right? So we should start any spiritual concept at void, right? So that's how I start. So without that, I think the best way to start any spiritual concept is void. So I think so. The entire my objective is trying to explain how you create your reality, or how are thought and emotions creating your reality. Are you creating your reality 100%, or only 70% you are feeling my reality is creating 70%, or I am responsible for creating my reality is 60%? So we have questions, right? So for those all my questions, I got answers from Ramtha. And he says you are creating your reality that is for 100%, not 99.99. Even though you are sneezing, even though when you lock your home, the dust is coming to your home, that's also creating reality, because you are believing that when I lock my home, if we go outside for 5 minutes, you think that okay, or if we go for outside for 10 days, you feel like okay, once I come back my home, so maybe my home is not that much clear. So you have that believeness, right? You have that intention in your mind, so that creates also reality. So that, see how subtle that reality, you should understand. So let's start. So I think I don't know agenda means I don't have much plans how to go ahead, but so I have a curriculum, I have a syllabus to teach you. So maybe it takes 2 months or 3 months. So weekly we have 2 days class, right? So but I want to teach
Yes,
you.
Ajay.
Yeah,
Ajay, sorry to interrupt you. We
yeah,
have no urgency to
yeah, correct.
run. As much time as it required,
Perfect.
please take it. And
Yeah,
the best thing that I'm looking for is everyone has to understand the reality to
correct,
the core.
correct.
There shouldn't
Right.
be any doubts.
Perfect, perfect. That's my agenda. And whenever you feel any question, just write it down. And end of every session for 20 to 15 minutes, we have Q&A. You can ask any question you can ask, right? So except stock market, except trading, you can ask any questions. So I can answer. Okay. So so exactly. So I want to define what is consciousness, right? So I was stuck there, right? So I was searching for what is consciousness, what is energy. I didn't get proper answer. So once I read Ramtha, he tells that formula: consciousness and energy create your reality. C plus E is equal to R. Consciousness and energy. We should not separate those things. But here we understand, to understand that we separated, but we should not separate consciousness and energy, because the milk and the whiteness you cannot separate. That shining and that the shining of the what you call petals, right? The shining of the diamond, you cannot separate shining and diamond. Similarly, you cannot separate consciousness and energy, because that for that energy, that consciousness giving the shape, right? So for example, in music, the lyrics is consciousness, the tune is energy. You should not separate, right? So when you combine that, you have beauty, right? So there are two intercombined. You should not separate. You should not separately define that. So, but how Ramtha defined consciousness is, consciousness, he says, is the fabric of life. What is that? That's the fabric of life. That entire thing is made with consciousness energy. That is the fabric of our life. How clothes are made? This is the fabric, right? So some people, maybe if you ask your children which who has that 4 to 6 years age, he doesn't know how it is made, right? He simply says it is a cloth, maybe it is a matter, but it's made with fabric, right? It's made with threads, maybe cotton, we can call it any name. So similarly, if you say how this body is made, the matter is made, that matter is made with consciousness and energy. Sir, can you see consciousness energy? Conscious energy in 7 levels. In certain levels, in physical level, you can see it, but in beyond physical level, you cannot see it unless until you have thought it, right? So, or unless you have that feeling nature, that unless until you have that experience nature, you cannot explain. So that's how you do meditation in order to experience that consciousness energy apart from this physical body, right? So I think I'll give that how that conscious energy in 7 planes. And before that, I want to share the story of where we came from. Generally, we people think that we came from uh, Hyderabad or some other places, some New York, New Jersey, Canada. That's our physical birth. But at our actual place, our actual consciousness birthplace is void. That's all that, and for all our all we should learn that our real true birthplace is void. That's our true place, right? So where exactly void? Void is everywhere, right? For example, if you see my hands, that gap between the two hands is called void. You feel there is no nothing, but when you rub, when you do something like that, you feel some magnetism, right? So How Ramtha defined void is void nothing but no thing. How Ramtha defined void? Void is nothing but no thing. But it is not in the form of thing, but it is actually all potentials are possible. For example, Ramdas say nothing. He say no thing because it is not in the form of matter. Thing is nothing but matter, right? It is not in the form of matter, but it is in the form of energy and consciousness. But all possibilities. Okay, so all possibilities are there, but is in the form of conscious energy, or you can call it as a quantum field. Okay, I will explain what is quantum field. We don't know basics. It doesn't require to know basics, but today I'm just give you a glance, right? So void nothing but no thing. But the definition of no thing means it is not in the form of thing, but is in the form of energy. That's why we call it nothing. Actual meaning is no thing, right? So void doesn't mean nothing, it is a no thing. Okay. So the void contains all possibilities. For example, the gap between your inhale and exhale, there is a subtle gap. When you observe, when you go to deeper meditation, the gap will increase. One day you will find pure void, no thought state, no mind state, stillness, peaceful, tranquil state, right? You find that in meditations. Maybe in sleep you find it. So for example, when you wake up, you do a lot of thinking, you do a lot of work. When you try to go to sleep, you would get dreams. After some point of time in dream, maybe in early morning, 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock, suddenly there is pure void state, pure deep state, pure Turiya state, you call it in Sanskrit term. So that state every day we experience that bliss state, right? That is called void state, no thinking state, no thought state, no mind state, right? That we call it alochana rahita sthiti in Patri system, but we call it as a mind free state or thought free state. Thoughtless doesn't exist. Thought free. Even though thoughts are there, we doesn't associate with those thoughts. That's why we call it thought free state. Okay. So that thought free state where you find your true self. Because I'll give some analogy. For example, you're going to see your face cleanly. For example, you went to a lake or pond, right? So when waves are there in that particular pond or lake, you cannot exactly see your face because waves are happening, right? So that when waves are calm, when waves are still, you exactly see your face, right? So similarly, when you want to travel your core, when you want to travel your inside, so there is one thing is stopping to realize that inner potential, inner divinity, that is nothing but your body, mind, consciousness or personality. The personality filled with thinking, beliefs, or some stress, or some experiences, some knowledge. So it filled with those things. Those things are stopping, thus those thinkings are stopping to realize your inner divinity. To stop that, we are observing the breath. Right? When you observe the breath, there is no thinking of mind, so that you can see your inner beauty cleanly. Right? How you are seeing your face in lake or pond. Similarly, you can experience the divinity when you are calm the mind. Okay, that's the analogy generally everyone gives. Similarly, I also put it. So here, Ramta says everything was created from void. Void, nothing but no thing. There is no thing, but all potential exists. So, but it is not in a matter form, but is energy form. So, but initially, I think in billion, trillion years back, there is pure void. There is no creation. I was telling the story which has happened my I cannot tell in words. I cannot tell in numbers. That is Planck's constant before Planck's constant. Planck constant also cannot explain that. So in that time, so there is no time, but in that we explain that I should use a term time, but there is no time in that void. So in the time, so there is no movement in void. Only pure void is there. Suddenly, that void got one thought saying that who am I? I want to realize myself. In that moment, that there is a movement in void. There is a fluctuation in void. There is a consciousness energy born in void, right? That conscious energy which has born in void, we call it as a God. The definition of God is consciousness and energy. I don't separate consciousness, energy, or you can call it as C and D, simple terms. Okay, or we can call it as a spirit. we can call it as a father. Remember, soul doesn't come yet. Still, that is a God, conscious energy, or you can call it a spirit, you can call it as a father, you can call it as a Mola Chaitanya, you can call it as a father and mother principle, you can call it anything. So, that is a God, that is a spirit, that is a father, right? So, because who gave birth to father? Who gave birth to conscious energy? That is void. Void gives birth to consciousness energy. How mother give birth to baby? Similarly, you imagine your womb as a void. From void, so okay, so you give birth to baby, right? Similarly, if there is no movement in void, there is no fluctuation in void, there is pure void in state. In that void, that void got one thought saying that I want to experience myself. I want to realize myself. So then that fluctuations comes and that in that void, that conscious energy was born. That we call it as a Mola Chaitanyam, or that first light, we call it as a God. Okay, so only that God has come. Now the God has duty to experience the void, right? But if you only one person is there, if you move in void, there is no reference point, right? To see, to experience, there is no reference point. Because this is a void. When you void it contemplated, it created primary consciousness, but there is no reference point to observe, there is no reference point to know the things. For example, in order to go to one place, you should have reference point. For example, if you want to tell I went to Hyderabad, if you want to go to Hyderabad, you should start from somewhere else, right? So there is no reference point in void because there is only one entity. Then, when it contemplated inwards, when it contemplated itself, it turns into multiple light forms. That spirit, that God, when it contemplated inwards, when we contemplated itself, it splits into multiple forms. That we call it as a suns. That we call it as a secondary consciousness. This God, we call it as a primary consciousness. Whatever the light beings will explode from that primary consciousness, we call it as a secondary consciousness. For example, we have a candle. For example, in order to lit that other candles, you can go to that first candle, you can lit other candles, right? So the what is the if you when you lit the other candles, so the brightness of first candle doesn't decrease, right? So similarly, even though the primary consciousness existed, so when secondary consciousness or other light beings or other sons were born out of that father, the same father was born in every son. The same quality was there in other sons. The same quality of primary consciousness was there in secondary consciousness. The only difference between the primary and secondary consciousness is he doesn't go and create. Thus, he gives him conscious energy. The secondary consciousness thinks and create whatever reality he wants. Because Father want to experience that. Because that was the task given to secondary consciousness. We are all secondary consciousness. Okay, so we are all secondary consciousness. The father was there. He gives the secondary conscious, he gives that conscious energy. We think that we take consciousness energy and we think or we thought, then immediately creation will happen. That was the gift given by our God. That was a gift given by Father. That was a gift given by consciousness energy. That when you think, when you take any thought, that thought will become manifestation. That manifestation will be done by a Father, right? So initially there is only primary consciousness. There is no reference point. When primary consciousness contemplated itself, it splits into crores of lights, crores of secondary consciousness, crores of sun. Only father is one. When I combine this secondary consciousness, I call it as a father. When I say singular term father, or you can call it as multiple terms of sons, right? So initially, void is there. Void contemplated itself. It created primary consciousness. That awareness comes. When primary consciousness contemplated itself, it created multiple forms of light, multiple forms of secondary consciousness. You can call it as a spirit also, right? We are all that secondary consciousness. So because that there's a gap between primary consciousness, secondary consciousness, that time has created, that space has created, that distance has created. There is no separation between primary and secondary, there is no creation. There is no mind. There is pure void state. And deep sleep, everyone, every day we experience that deep state, that Turiya state, that deep state, nothing but that Turiya state. So because there is no separation between your primary consciousness, your God, and you, your secondary consciousness. There is that is becoming one, right? So that state we experience every day, right? So in order to know between the time, space, distance, so there is two separate consciousness, one become two, right? So you know, for example, tree is there, right? So in particular tree you get mangoes, right? So when you plant again, that when seed that mango, again you get again that mango tree, right? So there is no difference between that mango tree and plant. So they have both have same properties, but maybe in magnitude there is a difference, right? Similarly, whatever the property has got, he has the same, but he doesn't create. But whatever you think that he will become that. That's a free will he has given. That is a love he shows. Whatever you think, he becomes that. That's a promise he has given. What is the purpose he has given to us? To know the unknown or create the life, create the creation, to experience the life. Once you create the life, he takes that experience and he will grow, right? So that's a father has given duty to us. That's a father has given purpose to us. That is nothing but go and create or experience the life or know the unknown. In Ramtha wisdom, we have four pillars. One is void, one is behold of God, or you are the God, or consciousness energy create the reality. And fourth is known the unknown. Why we are coming here? To know the unknown. We want to experience how sadness is. We want to experience how love is. We want to experience how food is. We want to experience how air is. We want to experience how touch is. We want to experience how that water, when we drink the water, how that particular taste is. You want to experience the all experiences. You want to experience the life. To experience the life, you have come to this earth plane, right? So that is the purpose he was given to us. So I think everyone has that question saying that why I'm born, what is my purpose? Everyone purpose is to know the unknown. For example, you don't know how particular strawberry flavor, how it is, right? You want to experience that. So similarly, every experience, your job, maybe your car, maybe your wealth, maybe your health, every issue, you want to experience that. From that experience, you will get joy. That for that experience, if you don't get joy, at least you'll get experience, and at least you'll get some a lesson, right? So that's the purpose you came. So that's a free will given by God. That's why in Bhagavad Gita also the entire what you call knowledge is given by Krishna to Arjuna, and he says yada ichati tada kuru. So it doesn't impose, master doesn't impose to students. He tells what is right, what is dharma, what is adharma, and he gives free will to students to follow that. That Patriji also given to us. That's the beauty of PSM is we have free will. So similarly, when God, the Mola Chaitanya, the spirit, the conscious energy has given that free will to the secondary consciousness and say that go and create. Whatever you create, I become that. That's a promise that God has given. That's a free will that God has given. That's a love God has given. What is love? Unconditional giving is called love, right? To experience that love that God has given free will, that free will we have. How much you have that free will, how much you can have that free will, that much close to your God, right? The free will, nothing but freedom, the freedom you have. So how much you freedom you have, that much free will you have, right? So that was the initial purpose we have that. So once this conscious energy becomes separated, the primary consciousness and secondary consciousness becomes separated. So when conscious energy moves far from the primary consciousness, that's time, that space, the distance has created. But this was there in seven levels. So initially that was in seventh level. Once primary consciousness still will be there, it doesn't move. Only secondary consciousness move. Once it moves, again the distance is increased. Again it collapsed. Again that secondary consciousness moved. It become fifth level of consciousness. Again it collapsed. Again like 4, 3, 2, 1. So I will show you how exactly it is. Then you can understand properly. So maybe in new terms, that fine. I think in later coming days you understand very easily. In starting you will find what are those words. You confused with those words. Fine, that's fine. So that is point zero is there, right? That point zero, you can call it as a primary consciousness or our God or Mola Chaitanya. The secondary consciousness traveling across the seven levels. In day also, we feel sometimes we will this level, sometimes we will this level, and sometimes in this level. When you in go to deep sleep and Turiya state or no experience state, so you'll go to this state also, right? So this conscious energy in seven levels. When secondary consciousness moves far away from the secondary primary consciousness, so there is different levels of consciousness. There are different experience it has experienced. So first experience it got is I am like my father and I am same. I am God. When you when it moves to when you decrease the frequency of the spirit, when you decrease the frequency of that light, so it moved to sixth level of consciousness. It feels that gamma frequency. It feels that everywhere is God, right? Everyone is God. When it moves to fifth level of consciousness, it is expressing the God. When move to that fourth level of consciousness, it feeling the love. When move to that visible light frequency, it feeling that duality. So one, two, three, you have that duality, and four, five, six, seven, you have that oneness. So that one, two, three, you have that magnetism. Magnetism is nothing but polarity, right? That magnetism exists up to one, two, three. That Big Bang happened here. That fourth ending and three starting exactly in this place. That Big Bang happened. So we'll explain later terms. So but you basically today you want to understand we are not one entity. We have seven level of consciousness. We have seven level of bodies. This is one body. This is another body. You can call it as a infinite body. You can call it as a nirvanic body. You can call it as a sixth body as a universal body. This is your golden body or X-ray. You can call it as ultraviolet frequency or blue body. You can call it as a visible light frequency or you can call light body. You can call it as a astral body or you can call it emotional body. You can call it as infrared body. This is your physical body. So in order to form the physical body, there should be other six level of consciousness. In order to make ice, you should have water. Or in order to form the water, you should have a vapor. In order to form the vapor, you should have a molecules. In order to form the molecule, you should have atoms. In order to form atoms, you should have a electrons and nucleus. In order to form the nucleus, you should have a quarks. In order to form quarks, you should have pure conscious energy. That means conscious and energy become the matter by decreasing its frequency, by decreasing its speed, right? By so that it can experience that matter. Similarly, how that water vapor become the solid because it decreasing its frequency, right? It is decreasing its energy. It is decreasing its consciousness. Similarly, in our physical body, there are seven levels of consciousness. In meditation, we transcend this physical body. We experience that inner bodies. We experience that inner travel, right? So this is the nothing but pure spirit. This is a matter. In order to this matter should work, you should have spirit. For example, your electronic device is there, your phone is there. In order to your phone should work, you should have battery. Even though you have software, even though you have hardware, even though you are thin, it doesn't work unless until it doesn't have power, right? Similarly, unless until it doesn't have so spirit, it doesn't work. Unless until it doesn't have these inner bodies, your physical body doesn't matter. That's why when the spirit leaves out of body, you call it as a death. For example, one person is walking and eating up to yesterday. Today, his body was he died. So that means some entity was missing. Yesterday, some entity was there. Today is not there. That means so what are the entity that operates within that was missing? That was left out of that body. That we call it as a spirit. That we call it as a these inner bodies. Right. So, for example, take a jar and pour some stones. Out of the stones you find some gap, right? In that gap you can find you can pour sand also. So in that little gap you can pour any what you call ashes, right? Ash also you can pour. So similarly, if you can pour little things, if you shake it, that if you see that entire thing, you feel it as a one thing, but there are four other things are there in that particular vessel, right? Similarly, you feel that physical body is only one thing, but not. It contains six other consciousness, six other bodies. That should understand. When you understand these things, your spirituality become easy, right? Your spiritual knowledge become easy. And people think that so truth is one, not truth is not one. Truth is in all seven levels. But we want to refine the truth. We want to excel the truth. This is the truth, this is the truth, this is the truth, everything is truth. For example, some people think that cheating others is right. Some people doesn't think that no, cheating is not right. Some people will think that maybe situation, based on the situation it is right, some based on the situation it is wrong. So some people think that we should have compassionate. Some people think things that I want to experience my divinity, express my divinity. Some people think that everyone is God. Some people think that I am God. So the reality is there in seven levels. The reality is there in seven level of consciousness, because whatever the consciousness energy thinks, the Father becomes that. Whatever the consciousness energy perceives, the Father becomes the God becomes that. Whatever the consciousness, how you mold the consciousness energy, it will become that. For example, if you take the water, if you pour it in zebra shape, it will that ice cube become zebra shape. The ice cube become line shape. Right, in fridge we keep that things to our children, right? So similarly, how conscious energy you thinks, how conscious energy you feel, how you feel your awareness, how you feel your thoughts, how you feel emotion, based on that, that conscious energy will becomes that reality. So what are the teachings I am teaching today? I am going to explain that in couple of days. But today the overall summary of what I'm going to explain. So you should understand there is a seven level of consciousness. We have seven level of bodies, or we can call it as a seven planes of life, right? So you have that. So but we are all comes from void, right? We are all comes from void. The void has all these things. When you go to sleep, you are in this physical plane. When you go to little we'll call it as alpha state, or you can call it the transit state, you little move to infrared or visible light, you will get dreams. And this, right, dreams are all belong to mostly visible and infrared. Some you'll get ultraviolet frequency or x-ray frequency, fine. But so once you go to deep sleep, what is the experience of deep sleep? Nothing. You say nothing, but you say bliss. I feel happy. When you say that, so when you come out of that experience only, you can tell. Within the bliss state, you cannot tell, because there is nothing to tell, because there is no mind, right? So in order to understand that, so this is a physical what you call, this is a pure knowledge I'm giving, but in order to experience this knowledge, you should have meditation. You should have that mind free state, right? So for that we are doing meditation, right? So when you do meditation, you experience that inner bodies. You can experience that inner travel, right? So then you came to physical body. So I want to introduce one more term called soul, right? So I tell conscious energy is the fabric of life, and how you perceive that conscious energy, so that will become your reality. And there is one more term called soul. When the primary consciousness created these many secondary consciousness, these many suns, or you can call it as a these many primary consciousness. So each primary consciousness created one particular energy form, created one particular energy source, or created one particular life force. That life force you can call it as a soul. The combination of spirit and soul, you can call it as a entity, right? So you have spirit, you have soul. There are two different terms, not single term, but you have spirit and your soul. Your spirit takes thought and your soul feels the thought. So in order to soul experience that thought, first you should have spirit. Should spirit takes that thought, your spirit nothing but your aura. Your aura takes that thought, and within our soul we feel that. For example, your canvas board is there, right? Canvas board. In your canvas board, if canvas board is shaking, you cannot paint. In order to paint, canvas board should be stable, right? So similarly, when thought is moving, you cannot take thought and create. You should take the thought, hold for some minute, and you should shape the thought. For example, I want to build a home. It doesn't create reality. When you take thought, and when you keep the thought for some time here, and you visualize that and feel that and give the structure to the thought, then it will manifest. That way, that's why Ramtha says emotion is the engine, emotion is the fuel to that creation, right? Without emotion, you cannot create. So thought plus emotion will create. Then generally people say thought is consciousness and energy, emotion is the energy. But so thought has conscious energy both. But you can call it as it when you take the thought and when you feel it, then it will create reality. But that feeling gives the shape to the thought. For example, I want to build a house. what house? It is bungalow or a duplex or apartment, or what is the size of that? So every property we define, right? Then only it will manifest, right? So when a simple thought, it doesn't create. That emotion will credence to that thought. That emotion will give life to that thought, right? That emotion will give a shape to the thought, right? So without emotion, you cannot create. Without emotion, it won't manifest. It won't take the form. So thought always in that conscious energy form, that is in a frame form. For example, if you go to any sea, so take you have waves, right? Waves coming from that particular sea, right? So tides, waves you comes, right? So the take that particular tide and keep it in bottle, you can mold that into any form. So in order to take that water and form into any solid, form into any ice structure. So first you should take that water from tide. Similarly, there is a conscious energy flowing everywhere. Out of that conscious energy, you should first take the thought and focus over here that creates reality. Consciousness, and from that conscious energy, you take speck of conscious energy that is called thought. Movement of conscious energy we call it as thought. The frozen movement of conscious energy we call it as a thought. The frozen movement we call it as thought. How you take photograph, for example, you are going in train, you're capturing more your scenery, you're capturing one particular beautiful building. In order to capture that, you should capture in photograph, right? Then that movement was captured in that particular photograph. Similarly, that conscious energy is moving. That moving conscious energy, we're taking that in the form of thought. When you focus the thought by holding, then it will create reality. That holding the thought, nothing but we call it as a focus. The holding the thought, the holding the conscious energy, the brain is the purpose of brain is to hold that conscious energy in the form of thought, in the form of picture. Your brain helps. This is our Sudarshan chakra. This is our seat of God. This is our Brahmarata. Someone says, right? Because you hold your conscious energy here, that creating your reality. Because what our consciousness thinks, subconscious mind always says so be it, always gives whatever you thinks, because your father has told that whatever you thinks I create, that whatever you thinks I manifest, whatever good or bad, illness or health, lack or abundance, whatever you think, the subconscious mind will create, because it doesn't analyze, it doesn't judge, it doesn't know good or bad, only knows whatever you think, it creates that reality. Okay, so from now, I want to explain, I want to tell that consciousness energy is there, void is there. Out of that void, conscious energy is born. That consciousness energy is nothing but awareness. That consciousness energy is nothing but awareness. For example, when you say you are feeling that awareness, right? You are feeling that breath. Where you are feeling the breath, you are feeling the iPhone, you are feeling that ice cream, whatever maybe, but you are feeling that because you are aware of that. That aware is nothing but conscious energy. First, void is there, conscious energy is there. After that, conscious energy become the thought, thought become light, light become electromagnetic energy, electromagnetic energy become matter. This entire structure we are going to study in coming days. Okay. Thank you so much. You can, if you have any question, you can ask.
Thank you, Ajay. It's a beautiful session. Really, really, you have given a eagle eye view of everything that you are going to cover in next sessions.
Good.
And I don't dare to summarize this because there are a lot of things to summarize. Especially you touched upon how the first consciousness, primary level consciousness, got, I mean, born from the void state,
Yeah.
from the feeling that who am I? I want to experience myself. So, and then the secondary level consciousness and tertiary. So, greatly you have explained. And there are scientific, when there are visual things showing the levels of consciousness and the seven levels of body and all those things, it really helps the viewer to understand it is in a better way. Thank you so much. And also, you touched upon the four pillars of Ramtha's knowledge.
Yeah.
And I have a question before
Yeah.
I open
Sure.
the platform for everyone else. My question is, uh, or like, wherever you focus, that becomes energy. Uh, Waves become matter, right? So, but once it is matter, it won't get back to wave, right?
It
See,
can.
it
I'll
is.
tell you. I'll tell. Example. I got you the question. For
Mm,
example, for example, you were born, right?
mm,
So the when your father mother what you call copulation, you get that embryo primary cell, right? So within primary cell, you get that astral body enters. So are you that baby will grow and it will mother will give birth to baby, right? Physical body. After 70 years, 80 years, for example, that person has grown, he become old, he left his body, what do you call, he left the body and the body become dead, right? So when you take the body and keep it in, generally we keep it in tomb, right? So other we keep it in earth, right? So what happens to that body?
decomposes or
Why it decomposes? Because whatever the conscious energy combined in these atoms that was left,
uh,
what are the conscious energy that is uniting this conscious, that's why telling conscious energy is nothing but thought, that thought become matter, right? What is the thought? That thought is this, the thought combining that atoms in one particular shape that is leaving, so that that body also decomposes, become energy again, that becomes atoms, that become electrons.
yes. Wow. Great, great. Very good. Thank you so much, Ajay. I'd like to ask all the viewers, please raise your hand so that I'll allow you to ask your questions in a sequence. Shrikant ji, Shrikant Bandi, please go ahead.
Hello. Namaste, Ajay. So it's a wonderful session. I have a small clarification on the spirit and the soul, because
Yeah,
spirit you also mentioned its aura. So
correct, correct.
yeah, that I wanted to understand in depth.
Perfect, sir. So actually, so when I say spirit, nothing but the first was born from primary consciousness is secondary consciousness or your spirit, right? So for example, my Purnatma is Vishwamitra Maharshi. Vishwamitra Maharshi has a spirit. He has a soul. But when he sends his speck, when his speck is speck of consciousness, I am become secondary consciousness. But my soul is different from his soul. My spirit is same to his spirit, but my soul is different from his spirit because soul has experiences. Soul is nothing but essence of life. Soul is nothing but combination of your experiences. Soul is nothing but log of your life. You log your activity right, daily. Similarly, the log, the experience of your life, nothing but your soul. The soul is takes all your wisdom, but that spirit is nothing but your pure conscious energy. It doesn't store wisdom. Your soul stores your wisdom. Your stores your experiences. Because of that experience, you got your uniqueness. In a spirit level, we are all same, sir. Because of that particular soul, you got that uniqueness. Even though we are same, so we are the even though we are same, but you got that uniqueness. Even though that mango has different 70 level of flavors. Bengali pelli, rasam, you can call it as, right? So ice cream, different flavors are there. Even the ice cream is, we call it as ice cream, the different flavors of ice cream is there. Because of soul, because of that unique experience you got that flavor because of soul. Soul is nothing but log of the life. Or you can call it as a uh, life experience. Life is conscious energy and experience of life, you call it as a wisdom, that is nothing but soul. Soul carries wisdom. So, for example, in order to soul feel the thought, first thought should enter. In order to thought should come, you should have spirit. That is nothing but aura. Aura is nothing but your inner light. Spirit is nothing but light, right? So, how can you see light? Light you can see in aura form. So, you have six level of bodies. You have seven level of bodies. You have seven level of colors in your aura. That remaining six colors you can call it as a spirit or aura. So, I will show you in later classes how aura looks like and that how your spirit looks like, right? Because conscious energy in seven levels, your aura in seven different colors. Okay, the pure spirit is in white, pure white, or you can call it as white or fog color. You can say it. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so the
consciousness,
soul is covered by all the like six layers of aura.
correct. So that six level of journey, the soul records every moment. It records every journey. It records.
Okay, so the spirit is reporting to the universal consciousness or God consciousness or or
Correct.
the void which is created the Father, and then we.
Correct. Correct. So our spirit bit takes the thought, and it takes the thought when you take using the soul, it experiences that and soul records. Because
Gotcha.
without soul, you cannot hold the thought. Because of soul, you are holding the thought. For example, if without camera, you cannot capture that moment, right?
Yes.
When you blink the eyes, you can capture, right? So similarly, when you want to hold the thought, you cannot hold the thought without spirit, without soul. For example, thought is there. When spirit is there, spirit also in thought form, right? Thought is nothing but your God. So when you try to hold, it will move out of that spirit.
Mm.
When your soul is there, that energy and consciousness, it can hold the thought, right? So without soul, you
Mm.
cannot hold the thought. That's the beauty of the soul. When you hold the thought, you can give structure to the thought. You can paint whatever you want to paint. In order to hold that, you should require soul. That's a Ramtha says that nothing but Lord God. God is your spirit. Lord is your soul.
Gotcha. Thank you so much, Ajay. You're just quite enlightening today.
Sure, thank you. And we call
Trimurti
it
ji,
spirituality. Yeah, not soulituality, spirituality.
please. So true. Trimurti ji, please.
Yeah, hello, Ajay garu.
Hi, sir.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, whatever you are talking about, this is kind of electromagnetic spectrum. Usually, we studied in the physical chemistry and organic chemistry. There we see the UV spectrum and the visible
Correct,
spectrum,
correct,
IR
correct.
spectroscopy, and this all the spectroscopies usually people see. But there
Perfect.
is a different purpose is there for each radiations and each like
Correct.
each spectroscopy.
Absolutely.
So why you are connecting here that electromagnetic spectrum? Why you are bringing these 7 points? Is there any references there for here? Why you are connecting?
That is our body, sir. That is our bodies, higher bodies. For example,
Yeah, is there
for
any
example,
published something like that? Is there
yeah,
anywhere
yeah.
published?
Example, I'll give real time example. For example, for example, some people have kidney problem. So can you see it your eyes? Unless the person only feels who are feeling that pain.
Yep.
If you want to other person to check, how can you check that? He'll go to inner level of, you'll go to higher energy and capture that. For example, you go to ultraviolet frequency equipment, you go to X-ray, then you can capture that what exactly happened that particular organ. What does that mean? That means you are moving to higher level of consciousness and seeing that, right?
Yeah, that's what it. There is a energy and wavelength. It depends upon the
Yeah,
relation is there. Based
that
on that, that's molecule is studied and they published in a different journals and it's got
correct,
people are
correct,
identified that in it is
correct,
a reproducibilities are there. That's what it's
correct,
kind of reference everywhere. But
correct,
whatever you are studying so far now, what you are showed that is there any
correct.
references there? Is there identical proofs are there?
Yeah,
Not like
everything I'll show. Within I think 2 months I can show everything. So we should understand that. So higher energy can penetrate into low energy, right? So that our X-ray or ultraviolet energy penetrate into our body. It can move through our body so that it's scanning. So scanning, I don't require any document. Everyone knows how scanning is done. Your X-ray, your ultraviolet frequency scanning. So recently, cancer particles were killed by your UV rays, right? So there chemotherapy you're doing. So ultraviolet UV rays they are pumping towards your particular organ. They are curing your diseases. So that is happening everywhere in medical research, right? So these are your higher bodies. I'll show you how aura looks like. Then you understand your ultraviolet body, your X-ray body. I'll show you aura. For example, let me show you. Give me 2 minutes. I'll show. You'll get it. Recently, your phone also capturing aura. Have you ever observed that? Have you observed that? So your phone also
Yeah.
capturing. That's a. Oh my. That's fine. Killian photography is there, right? Killian photography is capturing. Yeah, see this. You can also. I think sound is not coming on. Sound is coming.
I think you need to share it with sound. Yep.
Sound is coming?
Yeah. Yes.
So, sir, see what he does is, so he take the leaf. So I told every object has six other level of consciousness, right? So he took that leaf, he cut that one part, right? So second part also is seeing, even though that particular physical entity is not there, second half is not there, but it's showing that energy bomb. Because even though the physical matter is not there, that energy consciousness is still there until some time,
Can you share
right?
your screen? Can you share your screen? Could not able to see that.
You can see Veer Garu.
We can see the screen, Andy.
Swipe your phone to left or laptop to left.
Yeah, right now you are showing mostly blue body. So generally stays in that level of frequency, fourth level and fifth level of frequency. That's why you're seeing blue and gold color, but mostly blue and gold color, right? So even though the physical entity is not there, that astral form, that lower higher bodies are still there, right? So that's the aura. Similarly, you have your physical, but I'll show you how person's aura looks like. How I recently last year I took my aura. I'll show that. Maybe you will understand in more detail. Okay, so that's how it looks like. So every evidence is there. So recently, phones are capturing, and Yamato is there. Yamato Nobel Prize. I think water has a memory. Then he also proves that the structure. So I'll tell that. So and in this entire 2 months we're going to explain every concept with what is the scientific proof. So maybe some science maybe cannot be explained in some concept, but most of the concept they explain quantum physics, neuroscience. So everything they explain, I'll show you evidence. Yeah. So do you have
Yeah,
any question?
water experiment, right?
You got it right. So this is the aura of this particular object.
Thank you. Thank you, Ajay. Yes. Even though the physical matter has gone recently, then you can still see the aura,
Because that
right, Ajay?
light,
Yes.
that's the electromagnetic energy. The electromagnetic energy, when it is go to entropy, when it go to temperature got decreases, it will become matter, right? For example, if water is there, so water become ice after some point of immediately it won't happen. It takes time. For our physical body, it happens in 9 months. Similarly, that aura, the light electromagnetic energy, when it condense, when the temperature got decreases, that means that atoms was combining after some point of time, it will become matter.
Yes.
It takes its own time. So I'll explain that seven bodies in electrons form, electron, nucleus. Everyone knows, science has proved. Maybe span of 100 days they proved it. Electrons, proton, nucleus, quarks. The God particle they found it, right? So they named it God particle. I'll show that what exactly that God particle. I'll show you what quarks your which level of body, how electrons which level of body. I'll show that.
Thank you.
Electrons are your second body, sir. Atoms are your first physical body. Electrons are your second body.
Any
Thank
others have any questions? Actually, it's a lot of knowledge that you have shared. What I will do is we will watch this again in our regular class because you are coming here only 2 days, right? Wednesday and Thursday.
Yeah, yeah.
And we have the rest of the days. Some days we can watch it again and see it because repetition makes us
Correct. More clear.
understand better. Yes, I understood, but to remember again and to connect the dots,
You should
uh,
contemplate on that. Yeah.
exactly, exactly,
శ్రవణం మననం నిధిధ్యాస శాశ్వతకరం చెప్తారు కదా.
exactly.
So they similarly you should contemplate on subject so that it will imbibe in our body. It will uh, go to deeper level of your body. Your neurons will fire in order to understand that. When you contemplate only, your neurons will fire. Otherwise, neurons won't fire. So neuroscience will come. So I think it will take 2 3 days. Yeah, we'll explain.
Thank you.
So all this is coming from Ramtha, right?
Yes, Ramtha. Mainly
It's
Ramtha. He has given that
JK
Ramtha.
Knight.
JJ Knight, JJ Knight.
Jesse
Yeah,
Knight. Yeah, Jesse Knight.
absolutely. So yeah.
Yeah, in the beginning, you were telling something about Ramtha, 35,000 years. You said no, I did not understand it properly.
Yes,
What
ma'am.
is
Yes, ma'am. I'll tell that. So, for example, we feel that Ramayana starts 8,000 years back, Mahabharata 5,000 years back, Hanuman something like that, Satyuga. Maybe for every 20,000, 26,000, we have life cycle. For example, Earth completes 365 days to rotate around the sun, right? Similarly, our sun will take 26,000 years to complete its round towards central sun. So we have sun around Earth is rotating. Similarly, sun also rotating around central sun, right? To complete that full circle of that's complete central sun, it takes 26,000 years back, right? So that 2012 December 21st, that 26,000 years circle was completed. So when particular photon when sun enters the sun or solar system enters through that particular photon belt, or we call it as a 26 years life cycle phase. So there is a changes happening, right? So there is changes happening that happens in 30,000 years back in Ramtha time. Before that, Atlanteans civilization were there. For example, Atlantic's sea, right? So Atlantic Ocean. So that Atlantic Ocean, what you call that entire what we call it as what you call tornadoes or tufan was came in that time. So that entire civilization was vanished. So in that time he was born. So before 100 years, that tragedy was happened. He was born there. There is a two groups were there. One is Atlassian, one is Lemurians. That two civilizations were there. Atlassians were technology high-ended, and Lemurians were more about spirituality and more what you call they're grounded. So Atlassian tried to control the Lemurians, and they got that dispute, and again they fought it. Ramtha stood for Lemurians, and he did so many wars. Finally, he realized the God within. How we are realizing that, right? Similarly, he realized that. So in 35,000 years back, in our physical time. So again, he promised that I will come in because some of these spirits who are born in right now in earth, so they were belongs to Ramtha's time and they were Ramtha soldiers. So that's why he promised that I will come back again to teach you the subject. That's why he came from 40 years he teaching. Even though epigenetics was not introduced, he told about epigenetics. Even though quantum physics not understand the things, he told that quantum physics in that time, 40 years, 1979, he started a school called RSC, Ramtha School of Enlightenment in USA. So he was teaching since then, 40 years, the subject. Like Seth, you can Ninal Vatsha, conversations with God, Louis Helhe. So they're entities, but he enlightened 35,000 years back. That's the beauty.
Thank you, Ajay. To complete this answer, Sheetal, 35,000 years ago, Ramtha was born and he got enlightened during his lifetime. But now he channels through Jay-Z Knight. He actually speaks to his students and he first-hand kind of first-hand information. Jay-Z Knight has given permission to use her body to Ramtha to teach his wisdom to uh, people around him now. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
And one more thing, I think generally people will get a doubt what is walk-in, how can this other entities can
yeah.
speak. So US government also got similar questions. They created 12 group one particular committee, right? So in that neuroscience people are there and heart surgeons there, everyone is there, and every specialist is there, and out of that 12 members group. So they declare saying that when Ramtha enters, some physical changes are happening. That means some other unknown entity, something is happening within her. Because when Ramtha enters, her heartbeat was going to 180. Generally, people in 180 they'll die, right? So when Ramtha enters, Jason heartbeat was 180, 160, something like that. So it not doesn't happen natural phenomena. It happens, we'll die, right? So it is not happening like that. So still, Jason was talking. So that's how they conclude saying that okay, which even we cannot say in technical terms, but there are unknown entity, unknown thing which are beyond our limitation, beyond our understanding. Something is happening within our body, within our brain. So that's how they give that declaration.
It's a great example now. You brought it up, Ajay. Only a few days ago, we talked about walk-ins. So now, so this is not I did not read it completely, but I understand that it is a temporary walk-in, right? He comes and
Yeah,
speaks
whenever he
and
comes.
then leaves.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
correct.
consciousness, yeah.
Correct. And second important thing is, for example, in 50 years back, if I say we all people combine and talk in particular application or for particular device, people who used to say you're fool. In 50 years back, if I say same thing, if I tell a concept of Zoom in 50 years back, you say you don't believe, I don't believe, right? So matter of time, we all already believe that we are doing that in working Zoom, right? So similarly, the things which are beyond our limit, just don't reject, otherwise, or don't accept. Just keep it in neutral. So when you have that experience, just take it that. Okay, blindly don't reject anything, blindly don't accept anything. So just keep it that and analyze and try to understand that. When you express that, automatically it will record. You get that feeling, right? So, and
Yeah.
Ramtha says some beautiful saying. God is not about intellectual understanding. It is about emotional feeling, emotional understanding, right?
Yes.
So yeah, emotion. It's a feeling. It's a feeling. God is feeling. You cannot explain in words.
Yeah, in the
That's
book Autobiography of a Yogi, so there is a mention. He has told about a lady whom Jesus Christ walks in on a particular day, and even many research have been happened. There are some physical changes, and she speaks that language, and she suffers with pain.
perfect.
So yeah, this is similar to that.
Yeah, thanks to EEG. EEG means you can scan your brain. What happened, that phenomenon in your brain when particular entity comes, when entity goes. That was recording using EEG, right? You can scan using your brain. So thanks to technology, so that was, sorry, technology always supporting that spirituality, because spirituality is much bigger than that. But technology is supporting the spirituality right now. That in 40 years phase, this beautiful phase right now happening. That's beautiful. So you can understand every spiritual concept using, you can understand quantum entanglement, you can using parallel lives, you can yeah, you can understand.
Thank you.
So Trimurtuluji actually texted a message asking, is this meant only for humans or does it apply to animals also? I think
Every
he
physical
meant about the consciousness.
yeah, every object has consciousness. People think that phone doesn't have consciousness. It has consciousness, but it doesn't have communicate with you. But if you go to cell levels, it can communicate. Cell has memory, cell has knowledge. That Yamato has recently proved, right? Water has memory, right? People
Yes.
think that water doesn't have memory. And that's why in ancient days, rishis used sapas to other people using by cursing that, cursing and giving that energy to water, and they're throwing that water to other person, right? So that water has memory, and every object has memory, and every object has consciousness. For example, you are walking in your mat, your carpet knows who is walking, what exactly you are going feeling. If you go to meditation, if you can communicate with that cells, you can understand. But only that carpet doesn't have is, it cannot create another carpet. But we can create, because we have a soul. We can take the thought and create.
Sure.
Everything conscious energy, but difference between mortal and difference between what do you call,
Immortal.
yeah, you can want everything immortal, but I can put it as life force, life form. Yeah, the difference between that carpet, you feel like life form is there, but life form doesn't there, but soul is not there. You can put it in there. So soul is not there. Because of soul not there, it cannot create that. It cannot create that. It can understand. It knows what you are feeling. But yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
So Veer, please go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Ajay Garu, for your time and enlightening us on the fundamentals of our creation. I have follow-up question on what you responded to Umaji's question. Like, you give an example of how the life force we come into life and destruction happens when we left the body, right? I want a realistic example in a materialistic thing, the same example. Let's say with my consciousness and energy, I mean, with the thought and emotion, we create some materialistic thing. Let's say, so is that how the life of that is it how is it I mean how like the body decomposes of the lifespan, so is it let's say you create a wealth or a job, and when that, how long the wealth will be there with you, or how, what was the span of that, what was the span of that? As I said, as in that case you explain simply like, you know, when we passes away, our consciousness is not there, the body get decomposes. But in this case, we create with intention of thought and emotion,
Correct.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you explain?
But
Can you give a practical example and of any materialistic thing?
so in death case difference, sir. Death case difference means, for example, if you that spirit is moved out of body, everyone knows body decomposes. For example,
Yeah.
everyone knows. In that case, I will give real type example. For example, in childhood, everyone were fond of cycling. So every other person also cycling. Every father will brought by cycle to us. So we are more fond of that. So initially you have that feeling of I want to ride the bike, a cycle or bicycle. So you have that initial feeling. After a few days, you had enough experience. You left after that. Okay, so you left after that, but your thought energy is not there because you're completely experienced that experience. You move out of that experience. That right now you have only wisdom. Right now you have only experience. When you focus on that, again you'll go to and walk. You're going to go and do that bicycle, right? Similarly, when your consciousness energy move out of the particular entity, still there, but you're not associated with that. You don't have vertical attachment with that, right? So similarly, your body is vacated. You're not attached to that. You're moving different plane of experience, different task. Right? What happened to your cycle? The cycle was gone. Where is your cycle, sir? So, for example, childhood, you bought the cycle. Where is your cycle? Your cycle was gone to somewhere else. We don't know, but it will become matter. It will become atom, something like that. Similarly, your body will decompose. You will move to another plane. You will go to another experience. In life also, if you segment in small aspect, every day you're doing different tasks. Maybe you some habits you repeat again. Some habits you don't do again. Some tasks you don't do again also. Right? So in childhood, we have left so many things. Right? So unless until you again come back, it will repeat because your conscious energy again thinks that again you create that reality. So for example, if you think that so my wealth is there up to for example, some people think that my wealth is there for lifelong. It won't be there because your physical body won't be there, right? So it won't be there unless until you want to experience that. For example, how can I put it? So
Let's say if we create, if I manifest a job which is my dream job, right? So I got it, the job, which is the first part is done. So will that be, do I need to still thinking about every day about that to hold that job, or like how that works the practical? That,
right,
because
very
here
good.
what energy, thought is the pure consciousness, where's the energy? Let's say I
Correct.
got the job, I'm doing that job work, and I don't think about anything else. Let's say I'm doing the job,
But
executing the
I,
job.
I, I got it right now, sir. The
In
question
this
got it.
example, how
Perfect.
it works?
Yeah, perfect, sir. We have three stages, right? One is before creation, while creation, after creation. So before creation, you take the thought, just manifested in your thought level. It got manifested, physical entity, a job can. So now, right now, you are in experience form. Experience the job. How long you experience? So how long you experience means that particular experience, particular job until it gives a joy, unless until you satisfied, you do that work. When you got fed up with that, maybe because of social consciousness, because of your limitations, even though we don't like the job, you do that. Earlier days, you not like some work is there. If it doesn't like, they move out of different experience. That's why enlightened matches doesn't do same thing. They doesn't do much jobs. They move out of every time they move to different experience. So but still we are doing the 40 years, 50 years, even though we don't like it, we like it. We are doing because of obligations. We are doing because of family, because of survival, because of money. We are doing that job, but actual soul, each incarnation, what he does is, you when you get the experience, it will go to new experience. It will take new form. For example, last incarnation you took as a wealth person, it will try to move in different circumstances. It will go to the poor family, how it will experience how that poor family is like that. So how much you can sustain that particular experience is how much, for how much time you are feeling that joy with that experience. How much what you call mindfully experience that. Once you fully experience that, it will more out of you. For example, I'll give best example. For example, a small what you call fruit is there. Fruit, not fruit, in the form of mango is there. For example, mango is in mango ripen, so it will move out of the tree. Automatically, it will fall from tree. What does mean is, when you fully got experience, that desire will go out of you.
Okay, so when you don't have a desire, when you don't have a positive energy, I mean, feel enjoying that.
That doesn't mean desire means desire got fully experienced. That means it
Okay.
fully ripened. For example, you want job, you're doing 40 years, you got enough satisfaction saying that, okay, I have fully experienced the job, I want new experience. Unless until you feel new experience, it will stay with you. When you
Okay.
go to new thing, it will move out of you. For example, like how ripened fruit move out of tree, because it has enough knowledge, it now become new tree. It has enough knowledge, and that ripened fruit has fallen out of the tree, and it has independent now, and it move out of, it can grow into new tree. Like that, your desire become wisdom. Your desire become fully experience. Now it become experience, no longer desire is there. For example, if you have chocolate, if you want to eat chocolate, if you take 100 chocolates, if you eat one day, you got an experience, you fed up with that, you will go to new experience. The fed up, or what you call, you got fed up, right? But fed up, indirect meaning is you want new experience.
Yes.
So even though I don't expect, let's say I'm doing it, even though I did not realize that I got fully experience of that job, but maybe in other way unaware, and I'm feeling that somehow I'm now unhappy with the job. That also you will be moving out of that, right?
Perfect. That means you need new experience. But because of obligation, still we are doing that. Because of obligations, family issues, survival consciousness, we do that.
So that negative, I mean, which I'm not enjoying it, right? That
Correct.
negative, or what you call as that
Low vibration, low vibration.
that also will be a distract. I mean, that also will enable your destructive energy, right? I mean,
Perfect. Because we're feeling low energy, you're sending that, again you coming in that loop again, unless you break it.
okay.
Whatever is sending, it will come back, right? So I'll done that constant. So for example, daily you're going job, you're feeling unhappy with that. Then unhappy is sending that. So then unhappy events not only happens in your job, in family life, it happens in your spiritual life, not other way of life, it happens. Because universe doesn't know in which aspect you're unhappy. For example, you are unhappy about job, it will create that unhappy in whatever way it possible, even it possible. Unhappy in family life, it will create unhappy. Not only in family life, in maybe it affect in your job also. So it doesn't know, universe doesn't know in which area you are affecting, but it knows only frequency. So it operates in terms of frequency.
Okay. Thank you, Ajay.
Thank you, Ajay. Wonderful explanation. Anyone else?
Is one question, Ajay ji. So is this the experiences, are you supporting the soul plan?
So two things, very good questions. So actually, before you come to that, the unfulfilled desires in last incarnation, you keep it as an agenda. You could keep it as a destiny in our soul plan, right? How you create that soul plan based on the knowledge you have in that particular time, particular level of consciousness, you plan that destiny. Once you come to earth plane, you enlightened, or you got more knowledge. When you got more knowledge, you have more free will, so that you can alter that plan, you can change that plan, or you can accept that plan, whatever your choice. You can accept the destiny, or you can alter the destiny. You have every free will, but in order to have that free will, you should have that knowledge. You should know how it exactly happens. Yeah. You can
So
alter anytime. That's why, yeah. That's why
you
then
mean without the
what,
satisfaction,
yeah.
the satisfaction, if something happened and that unsatisfied life, is it going to continue in the next life?
Perfect. Yes, absolutely. Because whatever your unfinished job, dissatisfaction is unfinished job. You're not completing the thing. For example, I have stage fear, right? I have stage fear. For example, if I in this entire life, in entire my life, in this life, I was escaping to go to stage and give lecture or performing anything. So I am escaping that form because I'm not have enough experience. When you go on face, that experience you got, then it will move out of you because there is no longer fear. When you carry that fear, again you'll go to higher planes. When you wake up the body, you manifest in such a way that you will, all situations comes, one day you will have to perform. You have to do that. So before going to happen, when you realize right now, you can have that, you take courage and go and do the things. For example, Osho says, whatever fears you, you do that first. So similarly, when you do that, whatever fear you, whatever inhibiting you, whatever stopping you, if you first do that, it will move out of you. Then you'll go to next. So that's why in spirituality, in meditation, you understand whatever the obstacles you have, whatever the feelings you have. When you understand that, you have, when you have awareness. When you have awareness at thought level, you understand what the thoughts are coming. Why are that thoughts are coming? Because you have that feeling, that frequency within you. That's why you're attracting those thoughts. So when can you understand that? Because when you have awareness, you can understand those thoughts, those feelings, then you can change that. That is the awareness is the key. Awareness comes from meditation.
So in that case, Ajay Garu, so if my experiences, for example, in my soul plan, I created something, okay, and then I wanted to experience it, okay, but through some knowledge, awareness,
Could you please speak loud, sir? Voice slow.
Yes, Shrikant, we are unable to hear you. Speak out loud, please.
oh, is it okay now?
Yeah, fine,
Now
absolutely.
it's good.
Yeah, so in my soul plan, I've kept certain things to perform, okay? But due to some knowledge and high awareness, I got that, awareness, and I don't want to do it anymore because I'm aware of it. So, what it is, what feeling it is, what emotion it is. So, in that case, the experiences of life will still show me those in the future as well, or I'll move out of that particular destiny or soul plan. For example, there is fire,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
I want to touch a fire, that is my soul plan. But I've seen someone touching the fire, burn their hands. I know that now. I can't touch it. So in that case, do I still need to touch it and feel it?
Yeah, I'll tell them. I'll tell sir.
Yeah.
So here two things are there, sir. One is Ramtha says, when soul adjusts to two, when you really want to touch the fire, doesn't care about what other people are telling, what is whether you hurt or not, you should experience that. Soul doesn't have analysis. Soul doesn't have this judgment. It go and experience. That go in order to soul to get experience, who is stopping is our mind, our personality. It says, okay, I have knowledge enough, I don't want to experience. Not like that. So when you urge is there, when desire is there, you go and experience that. How better you can experience, right? So that urgency is based on how much desire you has. For example, some people who have temptation doesn't have desire, only temptation. They don't go and fully do that. For example, go and see, observe the child. It doesn't have personality because he does all the things. He'll go and put the finger in fire. You go and do all the things because he's operating in soul, not in mind level. In order to know the what exactly soul feeling, you should stop the mind. That's what meditation does. Then you truly understand what I require. You truly understand what is my purpose. You truly understand what is my desire. Then your soul will operate. Your mind won't stop. That flow will come to your body. Then you do the task without inhibition, without any judgment, without anything. So then you will complete that. Who is stopping? Your mind is giving unnecessary thinking, unnecessary knowledge, unnecessary analysis, saying that okay, not required, something like that. But who exactly knows? Your soul knows. That's why stop this mind and sit in meditation. You understand whether you want to do it or not.
Shrikant I understand. See, once you have the understanding and you have the experience, like you did not have the first-hand experience because you are learning from others, right? That's what your question is. You saw someone touching the fire, and then you realize that it will harm you, and then you learned the lesson already. I think in this case, probably you have already learned the lesson, and you don't need to touch it again. Is it correct, Ajay?
No, his
His
point is
question.
No,
your mind is stopping to touch the fear and fire
yeah,
because
correct.
someone else's experience. So, my experience is my experience. Other
Correct,
person
correct. That's
experience other person. So, if you want to
right.
really experience,
2 minutes.
so
Yeah.
it doesn't matter
I,
whether it's burning your hands or not.
we close in 2 minutes, sir. So, sir, so your purpose is to know the unknown. For example, even though fire, you want to experience that fire, experience it. Doesn't matter. Okay? Because we are all here to come and experience. Your purpose is to know the unknown. So unless until you, for example, some people says, so everyone knows don't go to stock market. How it knows? Once you so many reasons with things, right? Unless and you go do the stock marketing, unless you go to that real trading, okay, then you experience, okay, this is a volatile thing, I should not go. Then you will get real experience. Subject experience is fine, but when you really experience that emotionally, then you understand. That's why go and do it. Unless until you feel that, do it. Okay. So when you urge to do it, do it. That's the thing I
Yeah,
feel.
soul plan is one thing, I'll do it, whatever it is. But
That's
free
right.
will is also something which we can, which we can do or we can skip it, right? Free
Correct,
will.
correct. Free will is there. Free will is fine. But what is urging you, you should do that because you need that experience.
Correct. Okay. I got
The
you. Thank you.
adjust, the adjust, you should do that because that's the
I,
feeling you should
I
experience.
I think the question is also like once
Yeah.
you skip it,
Mm.
then you have to take the lesson again in your next birth.
Definitely. See, the desire is there, ma'am. If you not
Yeah,
experience, you should do it. If you
got it.
desire not, that's fine. For example, you want to touch the fire, how experience, you should experience, go and experience. But who is stopping that? See, 1 minute it doesn't happen like that. So you do that. So otherwise, we learn from everywhere. We don't come. See, for example, as you said, you stay in astral plane just to see, okay, what should I do? What should I do? You're not doing that because you want physical experience. Physical experience is, for example, in in classroom, teacher tells, okay, play this shot like that, this shot like that. But it doesn't learn that from that. If you go to actual field, you go to actual match, you understand what exactly that, right? So in physical form, in mental form, you really have that experience. When you experience with the physical body and soul records, that needs because that's why you came to physical.
So true.
Yeah. I
Yes.
think in my second standard or first standard in my childhood, his name is this with my school friend, and one day I told him when I was sitting on the bench saying I want to eat ice cream today. He said, "Go and eat it." I said, "Why? Why are you pushing me?" He said, "If you are not eating, then you'll have an expert again." In my second,
Oh,
it was like sixth, seventh class,
super,
7 years
super.
or 8 years. I believe.
Great, great.
I
You
don't
have
know
that
where he got
vast
that
experience.
knowledge from.
That generally people call it skill. Generally people call it as talent, right? That talent is nothing but your soul wisdom. Some people thinks in 5 years. Some people thinks in 4 years old because that soul which operated through subconscious mind, that knowledge is coming to conscious mind. That is a
Yeah.
skill. That's a talent, so not skill. That is a talent which was inherited from your past lives.
Yeah.
Thank you.
One last question, Ajay Garu, on this context. Until in this is what my understanding was with my experience. Like in this example, until unless you have something in your soul plan, it won't happen in your life, right? Let's say in this case, the fire. I need to touch the fire, even though I'm conscious. Fire, like let's say, fire is very dangerous and all. If what my understanding is, if it is in the soul plan to burn your finger to touch your fire, you will do by any means, right? So we cannot stop that. What are the
Two things.
design the soul plan?
Two things. For example, this experience already there in our soul. You are repeating that loop again. Every incarnation, you're burning your finger. You can stop that because already you have an experience. Using your free will, you can stop that. Second thing, for example, if you don't have that experience in past life, only your newly experienced that, you should go and experience that.
Yeah, but as a normal person, I don't know it whether I have previous incarnation, I've already done or new experience.
You know it. That thing is repeating multiple times. For example, multiple times you are burning. That is a habit. That is the attitude. That is the thing you should evolve. We should stop and move out of that. We know we like ice cream. What people does is every day they eat ice cream. That's not good, right? Occasionally
Yeah.
is fine. So that is a habit. That's a pattern. That is a pattern. Nothing but karma. You can call it as.
Okay. Okay.
The pattern
Thank
is
you.
karma.
Thank you.
The pattern we break it.
Manipulate our free will as well. Instead of burning the entire hand, we can burn our finger and then check. No.
Yeah, fine. That finger, this entire burning is an experience. This also experience. You rightly said. Correct.
Okay,
Correct.
and thank
Absolutely.
you. Thank you so much.
1 spoon of ice cream is taste also ice cream. 1 cup of ice cream also same ice cream.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ajay.
Thank you so much. So I'll move on.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Have a
Thank
nice
you.
day.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Magar.
all masters.
Good night.
Thank you, Andy. Good night.
Thank you and good night, everyone. Thank you, Magaru.
Good
Unless we
night.
burn, we don't learn the lesson. That is the thing. Very nice. Thank you so much. It is a wonderful session.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone,
Thank
for
you.
joining.
Good
Thank
night.
you.
Yeah. Bye.
Tomorrow also we have class with Ajay, and yes, let's see.
Okay.
And also we have early morning meditation for 12:21 portal.
Oh, yeah. 5 o'clock tomorrow
Yeah,
morning.
5
Yes.
o'clock. I will immediately send the link for that. See, we are going to join our Zoom link only tomorrow. Is that
Oh,
okay?
okay.
Because
That's
last
nice.
time we all felt that there were YouTube ads and a lot of disturbance. It's only for 20 minutes. We will all join our Zoom only. Our own.
I heard it's exactly 5:02.
5:02?
The time. Yeah.
Great. Let's start 10 minutes before that.
Yeah, of course. 10 minutes before. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Umagaru, for reminding that. Yes.
Yes.
What is the exact time for tomorrow vacation?
Meditation, because as part
Morning.
of our portal activation, like 12:21 portal. So tomorrow, I mean, early morning is the last third meditation. So let's have a session tomorrow. So no
Yes.
talking, nothing, only meditation. From you can say 4:50 a.m. you can join, and then for 30 minutes you can be there.
We can meditate. Yes.
We all can meditate together.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you.
East Coast time is 5:02, right?
It's yes, for EST it's 5 o'clock. For you
5:02.
it will be, I think 2 a.m. probably.
Yes. So for me it is 2
Yes.
or 2 o'clock. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Got it.
Yeah.
Thank
See you all
you.
tomorrow. See you all.
Yes.
Good night.
Yeah. Good night, Annie. Bye.
Good night.